All of it.
All of it. So I actually played I played ice hockey almost my entire life. Played it in college, and then my junior year in college, I had a really bad injury. So I don't know if you know much about ice hockey, but if you cross check a female from behind, which is taking your stick and cross checking her anywhere because your neck is open from your shoulder pads to your helmet, then your entire team gets disqualified from playoffs. Yes, because it's in an intent to injure someone. So this happened while we were at nationals, and it wasn't even like a game that mattered. We were playing for fourth and fifth place. You know what I mean? So it was just really aggressive. And a girl ended up cross checking me from behind, and it chipped my vertebrae, which knocked me out. And then obviously, like as your body goes limp, the first thing that hit the ice was my head. And so it wasn't that like, hey, I got a concussion. It was the worst concussion of my hockey career. Because I mean, everyone knows like concussions are just very common in ice hockey. It's a very physical sport. So when I realized like, hey, I couldn't come back to hockey, I just dove into the gym because I started strength training for hockey when I was 13 years old. Like they just put us in the gym. That's what they did. And so whenever I realized, hey, my hockey career is over, I like dove into the gym and I didn't know it at the time, but I was training exactly like a power lifter. Did my first powerlifting meet at 21 on my 21st birthday, and then like absolutely fell in love with it. Did that up until about 9 months ago. Um, was really good at it. So I competed at the 132 weight class. My best squat was 470, best bench was 280, and then best pull was 485. Um, and then like earlier this year, like I was just having like a lot of like spinal pain just from like the past like hockey injury and like constantly loading my spine with heavy weight. And so I would like talk to my husband because everyone always called me a bodybuilder. They're like, "Oh, you're a bodybuilder." I was like, "I'm not a freaking bodybuilder. I'm a power lifter." You know what I mean? I'm like, "What the heck is bodybuilding?" And so like I was struggling with because like I'm an athlete. I'll always be an athlete. Like I've always competed at the high level. And so like I was talking with my husband. I was like, I don't know what to do because I still want to train, but my body is literally like giving out on me. You know what I mean? Like constantly trying to push the barrier of like squat heavier, deadlift heavier, bench heavier. And he's like, well, why don't you just do a show? He's like, everyone calls you bodybuilder. You already eat like a bodybuilder. You're doing cardio. You're literally just powerlifting. And so then, like, we sat down because I know how much demand the sport is. And I know that, like, during prep, there can be a lot of tension within the relationship just because, like, you're literally so depleted. You're so tired. Like, you're giving everything. And so like we sat down and I was like, okay, if we're gonna do this, like we need to like make sure we're both on the same page. Because Brian and I, August we hit 1 year married. You know what I mean? Like we haven't been married. Like it's a very new marriage. You know what I mean? And so like that was my concern was like, okay, if I do this, like I want you a part of it. I want you to like also enjoy the journey because a lot of attention eventually is going to go on me and I don't want that to affect our relationship. And he was the one that actually like pushed me to do the sport, pushed me like really to like dive in. um and then March 1st was when I like actually started bodybuilding.
That story about, well, like I said, I played sports too when I was young. I played football, and that's also a very high concussion sport. I
Yeah,
played in high school, and that's tough. The injury, something just thing like that. What I know about ice hockey is like all see like the guys throw the gloves down and start fighting.
yeah.
That's why you don't see a lot of brothers playing it. You don't see a lot of brothers playing it.
No, the
But
girls are probably like they're mean. Like I will tell you, like, and that was the biggest transition because like I've always played in sports where like you're literally head to head to females where it gets very catty, it gets very mean. Like I have a scar on my back from some girl freaking stomping on me with her skate. You know what I mean? Like it's just girls are very mean in ice hockey.
I can
Like
I can I can tell you, I had three older sisters. I grew up. I
yeah,
used to work around women. Y'all women, y'all could be hateful.
yeah,
We have here
yeah.
some guests here making some kicker here in the lives. Shout out to my man KL the Wonder. He also does content on women and bodybuilding. He says, "What's happening?" That's what, brother. What about you? We have here is Melvin Mungo. He says, Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, brother. He also says, go
Go
Panthers.
Panthers.
Says, yeah. Also, he says, keep up the hard work. Yeah, appreciate that. And also, this is my young nephew Alex says, hey George, nice to meet you. Haley, heard about you. Yeah, shout out to Alex. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So now you decided to after because I know with a lot of ladies who transition from powerlifting to bodybuilding because you have to change your diet, you have to change your training, and I think that's most reason why some ladies leave that sport because of the strain. Some still do it. Like you look at people like
Yeah,
Angela Yo, and also a lady that you know very well, one Miss Melissa Tyke.
Melissa.
She
Oh
also,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yep. Her husband is my coach, so I'm very, very. She's. We met back at the Kern. Oh my gosh, probably 5 years ago now. Like before she really dove into bodybuilding. Um, yeah, I like Ralph a lot. I love them too a lot. They're very, very good people.
yeah, because we all heard recently that Melissa's taking a step back from competitive bodybuilding. She's still going to work in the sport in a way, but we never know. She might change her mind. She was very impressive
I'm trying
after
to
her last.
convince her.
Yeah, I think she did pretty good. You got to think about it. Well, she did physique for a couple of years. She's been to Olympia twice, physique competitor. I don't think
Yeah,
she ever cracked the top 10. You cracked the top 10 at this show, and you never know because I just saw recently um, Alcione Barreto had just had surgery for hernia.
yeah,
She may not be in the best condition next year. We don't never know. But that's the thing is, it's
yeah.
about as you evolve. So you met Ralph and Melissa, and that was when you were switching over to bodybuilding.
Yes. So I had started in March of 2025. I had started with a different coach that was not Ralph. And then 3 weeks out from the Monster Classic, like I just knew what I was getting from that coach was not up to my standard. So I had reached out to Melissa and was like, hey, is your husband taking on clients? Like I've seen what he's done, like from when you were coached by someone else to like now. And because like my biggest thing was like, okay, I got really dense off of powerlifting. And then the initial coach that I went with took all my powerlifting movements away. And I was like, to me, like I just didn't understand that because I was like, okay, if this worked literally for 9 years, why are we going to switch everything up? You know what I mean? Um, and so I had reached out to Melissa and was like, hey, like this is what I'm thinking about. And she's like, yeah, like reach out to Ralph. And then, so we actually, the night before the Olympia, we're on the phone for 3 hours. I was like, man, like you don't have to call me. Like we can wait till after the Olympia. And he's like, no, Melissa's good. Like, you know what I mean? And so like we just went over literally everything, like what my expectations were, what I was willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. Because that was like a huge thing too, is like I don't know the sport of bodybuilding, so I don't necessarily like know what coaches to stay away from and you know what I mean? Because like the one thing like there's certain drugs that I'm just never going to take, and that's just my personal preference, and there's a certain limit that I'm not going to cross. And so I want, like, that was a huge thing for me where I was like, Ralph, I'm not doing XYZ. Are you okay with that? You know what I mean? Where like some coaches are like, well, it doesn't matter if you that's what works. And he was just not like that at all. He was like, whatever you're comfortable with, that's what we'll do. Like, and he's like, we're putting powerlifting movements back in because that's how you became so dense. That's how Melissa became so dense. Um, and so I hired him literally 3 weeks out from my first show. And like, we had the discussion, like, we might not look that good at Monster Classic. You know what I mean? Because whenever I originally started prep, it was prep for NPC National. So, excuse me. So, however I looked at Monster Classic, it was just to qualify for nationals. And so everyone said I looked really good at Monster Classic, but I wasn't happy with it because like my legs had not come in yet the way that you saw them at nationals. Um, but like once he had like a whole another month with me, like that's when things just blew up. You know what I mean? Like we completely switched it. He switched my cardio, and it almost like because a lot of people ask like, oh, like didn't you struggle? And I was like, no, like I thrived off of prep, like the structure and like having my day be exactly the same. Like I love hard work. Like I strive off of hard work, and like I told him, I said I'd rather I'd rather do more cardio and more hard work than more drugs. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Where I
mhm.
think some people are the opposite. Like they're not going to go do an hour and a half of stairs. Where I'm like, put me on.
Yeah, put me in, coach. I'm
Yeah.
ready because that's the thing is that some coaches got to realize, especially when it comes to women. Women, your biology is different compared to men. You
Yeah.
don't men. We have our natural testosterone, and just the other
Yeah.
stuff is just stack on to bring in the more size density. It's good to find a coach that understands the factors, that understands what's involved, the training, the dieting, and people talk about when you talk about any kind of performance enhancing steroid. People say that's all you need to be a bodybuilder. You just pop these pills and yeah. But
Yeah.
no, it's not.
And like the main thing with like Roth is like, so Melissa works a normal job, like she's a nurse, and then they own two gyms. And so like my biggest thing was like, I don't live in like my life is stressful because we own three businesses. You know what I mean? So like my stress is different than like a typical bodybuilder stress. And so I needed someone to like realize like, hey, if I'm holding on to water, it's because a shit show just happened at the gym. You know what I mean? And like those two can relate to it because our lifestyles are literally identical. You know what I mean? Like he built his gym from the ground up, like we built our gym from the ground up. And so like most of the time, like our stressors are exactly the same. So if I'm panicking about something that's going on with the business, like he understands that and be like, okay, well, today was a shit show, but like let's just back it down, realize this is not going to be forever, and just get through the storm.
Yeah, we have here shout to my man Chad coming through. Chad Davis, he says this. Shout to Chad. He says, "Happy holidays, happy Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, brother. It's great to see you again. I'm here to give a huge shout out and support my lady and friend Miss Haley May. I see you, Miss Lady. You go, girl." Shout out to my man Chad. Also Chad says, "Brother George, Miss Haley is a masterpiece at work. I can't wait to see her on the stage in 2026." Oh yeah, this is
He's been
you got
super
lots.
supportive on
Yeah.
Instagram, super
Yeah.
supportive.
I said, "Oh, brother George, you missed my Christmas protein cookies, brother. I gotta make a new pan, but I got you, brother." So also you mentioned that because you talk about your business with your gym, you and your husband went together. You
Yeah.
have three gyms. Also, you're a baker.
Yes. So most people actually don't know that I love to bake and cook. My husband didn't know until like 6 months ago. We've been together for 3 years. Yeah, love the bold flavors. That's because normally, like, because I run the entire back end of the business, so I'm in meetings most of the time. I'm working from home, and so like that was something that I really dove into during prep because it kept me super busy. As I just baked and cooked every day.
That reminds me of a lady I interviewed, and I got to meet the lovely IFB Pro, Mrs. Christina Ware. She told me a story how she's a nurse. She works remotely at home. Also,
Yeah,
she loves to bake. She bakes stuff. She'll make her husband, her daughter eat in front of her. And that's the thing is, food is a tool and a weapon for a bodybuilder. I mean, it helps you your process, you grow it, and it's good that you found something on the side, this thing that
yeah.
helps you, because this is something you love doing, and so you make a pretty good living for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't
So,
change it for the world.
so folks, while we got Haley here, we're gonna do this. We're gonna jump to her social media for a bit. If you want to follow her, the links in the description on the live. If you want to check her out, you want to support her, reach out and your interest. But guys, and this is no offense to you, Haley. I tell you this. I tell this to guys out there, guys. No weird stuff. When you reach out to these ladies,
Please.
be respectful. I know. I had to make my cry here, Haley. I have a
Yeah.
muscle very small, and we love y'all buff ladies. But guys, please don't be that weirdo. Don't do
Yeah, don't be
that.
that weirdo. Don't ask
Don't
for
be that.
wedgie videos.
Yeah, but don't ask like. So I'm a lady. One lady had told me about some guys like to ask wrestling videos. Like, we want to wrestle. Say, hey. So we're gonna jump into social media for a bit. You want to follow her? The links in the description of this live. So here is. I think this is just a recent video you made here, and wow, wow. I mean,
Oh yeah, those were
wow.
some prep files. I don't think most people saw those.
Yeah, wow. Look at your quads. This is here at the gym. Yeah, it's
Yep.
pretty good. Yeah, this is not here. Great abs. It's wow. I mean, which did you feel like is your best physical feature?
Oh, man, that's such a hard question. So I would say, okay, this is going to be like a two-part question, two-part answer.
Okay. Okay.
So I would say that my glutes are very, very developed for someone of my age, and I would give that to like literally the 17 years of ice hockey. Because if you think about like the way that a player skates, it's basically you're doing glute kickbacks the entire time. But I also have a very wide back. And so like for me, would I like I obviously want to get bigger as a whole, but I also want to keep the symmetry where like I feel like right now, I mean obviously like your top 5 like Olympia bodybuilders, they're all very symmetrical, but I feel like when you look at in terms of like female bodybuilders, they either have like the massive legs and then like a smaller upper body, or they have like a super overdeveloped upper body and smaller legs, where I feel like right now my symmetry is like very well. You know what I mean? Like there's not necessarily a lacking part. I do just want to get bigger though.
Hmm. I know some competitors are known for one feature, like how the width of their back. Some have good quads, smaller tapering
Yeah.
waist. A little more like. I think you also have some great lats here. Especially like you said. You said your age. I never see. I'm a subject. I never asked the lady her age, but how old are you, young lady?
I am 28.
28. You're still wet behind the ears and breast like Similac. I'm 30. I'm 51.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still a young. You're still a youngin. And you're like I said.
Yes,
This
I
is
am.
a picture. This is from one of the pictures. This is on the cover before I use for the YouTube. And this is. I like this picture. Wow, it's just.
Oh
You
yeah, the
have a great
photographer.
shit.
We had a local lady. She reached out to me and she asked to shoot me, and I actually am like very shy behind the camera. Um, but they like she did so well with that photo shoot. Her and her husband do it, and like I told her, I was like, I've never felt more comfortable like during a photo shoot. Like she just did a really good job. Like a really good job. I could
I tell
never
you.
just take photos of myself and look that good.
Well, I would say that there's a great lady I've met. She does a lot of photography for female bodybuilders. Her name's Ellie Vicchio. She used to be a competitor back in the day. She's competing in bodybuilding, but now she does photos. She runs her own company called Muscle Angels. She works out of
Yeah.
she lives in Georgia, but she works in Florida and some other places, whatever, to have the shows. And this is where you getting ready for nationals.
Yeah, so
And
that was the morning after. No, yeah, that was before I started getting sick at nationals. So that would have been Thursday morning.
yeah, I mean, you look really good. Are I mean, were you going to do women's bodybuilding exclusively for your pro card?
Yeah. I'm not doing any crossovers. I'm full blown gonna dive into women's bodybuilding.
Well, we do appreciate. We do need because there was a good lineup this show. A couple of ladies I know got the pro cards, in that division. A couple of others got other divisions, and I think you
Yeah.
would have done well. I mean, but I like his picture here. Wow, wow.
That got a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's just here's the thing about this. When people see women like yourself, the everyday person may not find this very alluring or very attractive, but
No.
as me being a fan of you women, especially sport of bodybuilding, this is beautiful. It's just taking another form of the female bodybuilding and body and just developing it and changing it as it grows and as it evolves over a period of time. We got here a comment here. Shout out to man Chad. He says, I put M&Ms in my cookies, Brother George. By the way, do you use the plain or use the peanuts? I like the peanut kind. Also, we got here my man Alex. He says this. He says, Haley, hope you don't mind. I like your calf tattoos. I noticed the Ghostbuster
Oh yeah,
logo.
here.
I
Let me see if I
Mike
can pull it up.
yeah, from Monsters Inc. Courage,
That's what it
the dog. I love that show, especially Choices. Oh yeah,
Yeah. That
yeah.
was my here. This is my recent tattoo. I got this
Oh,
done.
oh,
That's
the
what he's talking
Ghostbusters.
about.
Yeah,
So I got that.
yeah. I see Mike. Yeah,
And those are
yeah,
the fairy odd parents.
yeah. I used to watch that show. For our parents.
Yeah.
I remember when Ghostbusters came out. You weren't even born yet when that movie came out. You
No,
see,
no, no.
that was yeah.
Not
I
the
remember.
original one.
Yeah, I still watch the cartoon. They show every now and then. We have here from my man KL the Wonder. He says this. He says, "Haley, have you ever been addicted to food such as sweets, such you are a baker?"
So sweets, like I'm gonna sound like a Nazi, but like I've like growing up, I didn't like sweets, I didn't like soda. Like I've always been super like health conscious. My entire family is not that way, but I always just like playing sports at a very high level so young. I just was like, I will do anything to be the best. And so like my sisters, they would eat all the junk food and all the sweets, and I was like, well, I'm not doing that because I'll play bad.
Yeah, that's just the thing. That thing is that instead of getting food is both a tool and a weapon as you develop as a bodybuilder. It's about the
Yeah,
right foods and just how you diet, how you grow. Me, I like sweets. I know I'm a big man. I like
my
like so,
husband does too.
you just say, and you're a baker too, so you like, baby, can I have those cookies? He's, no,
Oh
cookies
yeah,
without for
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we have here shots of man KL. He says, I love those calves. You love anything, KL. Just admit it. And also shots from man Alex. He says, love FOB shows turning 25 next year. All right. So yeah. So now you derail for nationals. What's the
Yep.
plan for next year?
So Roth said he wants 5 to 8 pounds of muscle put on from nationals for USA's. Um, so whenever we get back into town like January 6th, and then we're going right back on plan. Obviously, I got to get my blood work done. Came off everything, you know what I mean? Do a nice little reset. Um, so USA's, if we win USA's, we're gonna go to Tampa Pro. We're gonna do that one because it's so close to us. So it's like 5 hours from where I live, and so I think it'll be a good one. We'll be able to see like, hey, what is how do I stack up to the pros? You know what I mean? Where maybe we win, maybe we don't. You know what I mean? Obviously, if we win the Tampa Pro, we go to the Olympia. That would be fucking massive. Um, but right now, focus is USA's because I don't want nationals to happen again where like we don't make it to stage. You know what I mean? Because like this last prep was literally nearly perfect going into nationals, where like I didn't get sick, I didn't have any injuries, there was no hiccups. Like I felt good. Like I didn't. It wasn't until like we pulled my carbs a week out where I was like, oh, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like everyone was like, "Oh, aren't you tired?" I was like, "No, I'm loving it. Like, I love being in prep. I love, you know what I mean? Because I knew all the hard work that I was putting in, I was gonna be able to see it like paid off. And I had never been that lean ever in my life. So I'm like, okay, I've literally been lifting since I was 13. And this is gonna be the first chance where I get to see what I've built. And so that was really, really exciting for me. So if we can just repeat like the prep that I had and make it to stage, I think we're gonna shock a lot of people.
Yeah, I remember I was in Florida for Tampa Bay Pro for my friend. Her name is Eunice. She runs her own company called Bad Rap. David, he
Yeah,
shouts it out. We shout it out. And I was there when Rania made her pro debut. She did USA's just 3 weeks before, made a pro debut, cracked
yeah,
top five in women's bodybuilder. That's pretty good. I
yeah.
think she says she's going to do Chicago next year, so I think she might do. But we have a comment here from my man KL. The one he says, "It's that's good, 100%. You have discipline." Also, he's talking about me. He says, you shouldn't talk. Yeah. So what? This is my shit, man. I built this shit. Me, brick by brick. Let me talk. We have here one of the lovely Mrs. Randy Dean, who is also a competitor. She says, this says, hey, George, looking forward to Monday. Yeah, thank you. Haley, keep trucking, girl. You truly belong in the pro ranks. You have age in your favor. I'm 55. Keep chatting, my dreams and
Chasing, yeah.
never chasing my dreams. Yeah, my eyes are getting low. Never stop. And also, my man KL says this. He says, Shot KL says, Haley is awesome. She's gonna kill it. Oh, it's from my man. Oh, from my man David from Female Bottom Forward. Shout out to David says Haley is so awesome. She's gonna kill it on the stage in 2026. Yeah. Shout out to I got an issue with David. I told you before earlier. David's my brother. I love him. But a while back, David had taken a picture with my girlfriend. It's just my girlfriend. And David, I love you, brother, but you around my girl. I mean, I don't know why he's like this is my girl. She's supposed to come up, but I don't know. There she is. That's my girl. And
Oh
David's
yeah.
around her. He has hands around her. I love David as a brother. But this is one thing I'm gonna say about Andrea, because I was talking to my friend Eunice. She was at Olympia when they had it back in Orlando back in 2023.
Yeah.
She got me this issue of muscle development. And what makes it so special for me is that someone like Andrea Shaw took the time out and she autographed it.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really, really
Because
cool.
this is what keeps me going as a content maker. When women like yourself who support my content, like other than Melissa and Rafi, anybody else you really follow in the sport that you respect and admire?
Not not really. Like I think obviously like I don't know Andrea personally, but I think winning that many times is really impressive. You know what I mean? Like I was gonna ask you, do you think there's any up and not necessarily up and coming bodybuilders, but do you think within like the next 3 years Andrea has a chance of being beat, or do you think she's going to continue to hold that title?
She's gonna hold that title because I would say one lady who I got to meet she has a great physique, but I don't
Yeah,
think she is Ashley Jones. I met Ashley was in Tampa,
yeah,
and she looks really good. But the thing with Andrea, she has all the aesthetics. She's
yeah,
very great physique. She has a great feminine look to her. There's nothing other than the time when she lost the Rising Phoenix last year to Angela Yo. She did the same thing like you. She jumped to another. She had her same coach for a long time, John Simpkins.
yeah,
She went over and started working with Sid Gillen's coach, the producer. And I don't see any unless she comes in off or just some other reason. I don't see anybody really, topping her. There's, like I said, there's amazing ladies, but some of them just like they just need something more. And Andrea
yeah.
get the package.
And that's what I like about Andrea is one, she's so symmetrically like pleasing to look at, but she also is very feminine. Where I feel like whenever a lot of girls switch from physique to bodybuilding, they almost like stop caring about the feminine look. Where like I'm a huge tomboy, but on stage, like I have a second personality that comes out and I am girly as heck. You know what I mean? Because that's what the judges want. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, but it's like that. That's the thing is, it's a fine line trying to be feminine, having femininity and also muscularity.
yes.
Someone can hold it and carry it off. You look at somebody like, I'm not a big fan of hers, but Natalia Correjo, she's an example of that. Some ladies, I think they still need some things to work on. Yes, you need that overall look, but also you have to be very feminine, very well built. Here's my man, Chad. Thank you for support, brother. Says, Miss Haley, you are doing a great job in your interview. I told you, Brother George was a character. I'm my butt off. And as I said again, I'm a particular type of criminal. I just love anarchy and chaos is this in me. We have here from my man, KL says, running fantasy, but you can't go far. Okay, I appreciate that, brother. Also, he says, she was being nice, not as a girlfriend. That's your problem. I take it as being my girlfriend. He's a hater. He can't hate no more. Also, shout out to my man here, David. And she says this, hey, bro, your interview, my girl at Tampa, you got even with me. So, here's the thing is, it was a short little interview I did with your girl. So, it's still not the same because you got to touch my girl, David. His girl, his girl is Susan Graham. He talks
Oh yes.
about her.
We
So,
all have
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, everybody does. And that's the thing about the sport. It's evolved over time. Like we talked about Melissa, how she was in physique for a good while, didn't go up to women's bodybuilding. Um, I'm looking me as an outsider. I see competitors where I feel like they should really move up to where their body's going. Like I said, you're still young. You still have time to
Yeah,
grow.
exactly. And if the
Mm.
judges say, "Hey, don't go to physique," why am I going to waste the money and go to physique? You know what I mean? Like that because when I started, I originally was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a figure girl," and everyone's like, "Kayla, you're not a figure girl. Like, you're way too big."
And the
Just
high
because, like,
heels.
yeah, you know what I mean. Just because, like, I am so new to the sport, and like one thing, like Roth told me was just like, don't compare yourself to anyone. Like, don't go on Instagram and start trying to compare yourself to anyone just because it's not going to end well. And he's like, the only people that matter is what the judges say. So you just go by what the judges say. And that's literally what I did. Like I was upset at Monster Classic because I did physique and bodybuilding. And I would like at the time I was like, I'm physique, I'm gonna go physique. Like I want to turn pro physique. And they ended up placing me dead last. And I was like, but then I talked to the judges after the show, and they're like, "You're just too big. We don't want you in physique. Like you have too much muscle." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go bodybuilding then." And that's what they said. And that's kind of like how Melissa like went from physique, is she said that like she kept getting placed like, you know what I mean, like 10th or 11th, and she's like, then I went to bodybuilding and got what I think it was 6 overall this past year.
Hmm. Because I think
So
when she made a debut, I think she was top three Chicago that first year, and
yeah,
then she also was in top six at the Rising,
yeah,
and that's pretty good. I mean, she just needed
yeah.
to
The
maybe grow a
Rising's
little
really,
bit.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a great show. It's one guy. Anytime I say his name, I gotta say his name. Yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. That's my Denzel from Training Day. He was the man who kind of saved women's bodybuilding when shows were pushing him out. The Olympia pushed him out. He brought the Olympia, brought him back there. But next year's not like so much a great year. Not going to be at New York Pro. There
yeah.
was the Van Isle show, which was one of the shows that had it, but they are not going to do even the pro part of any other divisions. It's the division that gets this stink eye because
Yep.
of the level of muscle. But even physique, it still gets that look. It was brought in to be pulled like a replacement, but it seems like it's more like a division where you can evolve in. Some ladies will stick to it because they feel like I feel like I'm comfortable here. But as you outgrowing the criteria of the division, like when the judges told
Yeah.
you, nah, Haley, you're too huge for wearing high heels and walking up and down the stage. I think you should
Yeah.
go to bodybuilding.
And I get it. I mean, you either love bodybuilding women or you hate it. You know what I mean? There's no in between. So I mean I get it. I wish there was more shows for bodybuilding, but what are you gonna do?
That's the thing is, I wish like shout out is a guy who just did a show just a month ago, Austin Carr. We had women's bodybuilding. Ashley Jones won that show. People like we need promoters like that to step up and realize that there are women in this division that are people. We talk about Ashley, Andrea, and Melissa that have great physiques, great look to it. Yes, I understand the hate of it because you these big muscle women say, "Hey, you're trying to be a dude, you're trying to be a man,
Yeah.
yada yada yada." But this is the thing is, you're an athlete. You've always been an athlete, and this is a sport that you found interesting. You really found a niche for yourself. Here we get here a comment. Shout out to my man KL says you like you was going to wrap Ashley up where you hugged her in that picture. Yes, because hey brother, that's opportunity. I had to take it. I had to take it. Also, he says femininity look is important with muscle. Yes, it is important as anything. Shout out to my man Chad here. He says, brother George, Miss Haley is the boss queen in my opinion. Watch out now, I got her back. Yeah, cause you got your back, but you know what? You know who's the boss is my girlfriend. So, and also this is from dear friend Randy says, stay in your lane and believe in yourself. You are 100% bodybuilding, 110% bodybuilding. That's pretty good. A shot from her. So yeah, that's the thing is, like the thing is about especially the sport of bodybuilding, it's not as even though it's grown over the years. I've interviewed ladies from other countries and other places. It's still kind of a very niche sport compared to like you play we could have had a future playing hockey, maybe being an Olympian,
Yeah.
where this sport is just unless you really follow it, not a lot of people know it because you didn't know about it till later till people saying you were a bodybuilder.
Yeah. I mean I just like even with powerlifting, I never really like followed it just because I have a very different mindset than most. And I've always been that way where like I don't compare myself to others because I know that's just negative. and like whatever someone else is doing, it doesn't matter because I know how much work I'm gonna put in. And so like that's kind of how I went in it with bodybuilding was like, okay, I know obviously like the top names. Like I know the girls who have won their divisions at the Olympia and everything. Um, but I'm also like I'm not gonna compare myself to that. And I just wanted to enjoy the sport and like the process for myself where I felt like if I started to like dive into like all the politics of bodybuilding and like all the drama that I was gonna like hate it. You know what I mean? Just because powerlifting has turned a lot of drama and it's almost like toxic in a sense. And I didn't want that bad taste in myself with bodybuilding as well,
Yeah,
if that
something
makes
got
sense.
yeah, something got to say you drama for your mama. I'm like this, but
Yeah.
with me doing this content, this is from a quote from my favorite from one of my favorite movies, Batman Begins. The character Ra's al Ghul says like this: "Beware of surrounds all time, young Master Wayne. Never give a sure footing for a killing blow." And that thing, just be aware of it, but don't get too much involved in it.
Exactly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Do enough where companies and sponsors and the top promoters of the shows know who you are, but not like so much into it where it's like, oh, well, if this doesn't go right, my life's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because right now there's some stuff going on right now. I'm not going to go into details of that because particularly a couple of champions, one former,
The
one
physique
current,
side.
they're the girly side. They act like girly,
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that people just you have to find something that